Hey everyone, this is Reverend Mark here in my office at church. I thought I'd try something different this week and record a message to you instead of writing something out for the leaflet. We'll see how this works. First of all, hello. It's good to talk with you for a minute. Um, there are a ton of questions and a lot of somewhat complicated realities that we're needing to figure out right now at this stage. As most of you probably know who are watching this, we are planning to go back to some kind of in person worship this month. This coming Sunday is Confirmation Sunday. We're going to have confirmation families here and their mentors. And then following that, we're supposed to be having our first in person worship. We've been planning this for several weeks. We've been talking about all kinds of things in terms of signups and distancing and masking requirements and numbers. And then the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention came out last week with different recommendations on masking for vaccinated folks versus unvaccinated folks. I don't have answers for those questions in terms of whether or not vaccinated people will be able to worship unmasked or not, or if rules are going to be different for vaccinated people or not. The COVID team hasn't yet met as of this moment that I'm recording this. Once we are able to meet and come up with some guidelines, we will share those with you, realizing that there may be an initial recommendation that we still follow, perhaps a little more conservative, to start out with to see how that works, and then maybe changing as the weeks go on. So as we've said from the beginning, that we can't necessarily make one decision that will be the once and for all decision on how we proceed with this. But we're going to need to kind of be a little nimble about this and maybe change from time to time. One thing that I will tell you, just speaking personally, as having talked with some colleagues about what they're doing, I don't really like the idea of having different rules for vaccinated folks and unvaccinated folks. I know the CDC does that, but in terms of church and how we are as a church, it doesn't feel good to have different rules for different people. At least at this point, I think, because kids are still not eligible for the vaccine, so I don't know that it's really fair to grant privileges for some of our people. Like, say, if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask in church, while our kids, at least, don't even have access to the vaccine, so they would still have to stay masked. So I think those are things that we will be thinking about and talking about on the COVID team. And I just wanted to let you in a little bit on some of the complexity about these decisions, that what works for one group of folks may not work for all of us. I know it's not going to be perfect. I know that there will always be varying levels of comfort with certain things. But to that point, something that we talked about a little bit at council last night, and something that I want to share with you, is that my hope is there will be a number of lessons that we learn out of this pandemic time, lessons that we keep with us for the years to come. One of those things is the really bold and obvious awareness that our health matters, everyone's health matters, and there are differences in terms of how each of us is able to interact with community from a safety standpoint. We have always had folks in our community who are more vulnerable, whether it's because of age, whether it's because of a physical condition. There have always been folks who are more whose immune systems are maybe not as robust as others. And so that's just one example of why one lesson out of this time could be, and hopefully should be, to be a little more affirming of folks' individual choices. Say, for instance, we're years down the road. COVID is a memory of a difficult time we went through, and someone is feeling a little tickle in their throat. Maybe that tickle is enough for them to say, maybe I should stay home and just worship online today. Or maybe they're like, you know what, I still want to go in person, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep my mask that I have still from the COVID times and put it on, and I'm going to keep my mask on, and I'm going to keep physically distanced from folks, because I know, having lived through this pandemic, I know that masking myself and keeping physically distant, avoiding physical contact, that works. That keeps other people safe from whatever it is that I'm carrying, even though I have no idea what that is. So that's my hope, that wherever we end up in decisions for the time in the next few weeks, I want to encourage you all to hold on to some of the things we've learned during this time. If nothing else, do not throw away your masks. There will be a time, even if we go totally liberal tomorrow, which I don't think we're going to do, I would encourage you not to throw away your masks. There will be a time in the future where a mask might be helpful. Maybe you're not feeling so good. Maybe another pandemic, heaven forbid, knock on wood, comes down the pike. But that we don't have vaccines for. I think that the benefit is that we have learned, hopefully in this time, that there are little things that we can do to help keep other people safe and other people healthy, and to prevent the spread of lots of kinds of viruses. So with that, I will say thank you again for your patience and concern for one another in this challenging time. I am dearly looking forward to seeing you all in 3 dimensions and to seeing more than just this little black dot of a camera that I'm talking to. There will still be some restrictions. We don't yet know exactly who those were. There will be things like singing, for instance, that we're still not sure about. There's more data and stuff to analyze about that. But we're looking forward to this. It is happening. Thank you for your patience as we work together to try to figure out exactly how to do this in as smart and as equitable a way as we can. Love to you all. Take care of yourselves. Peace.